The bison is an American icon. I have always been fascinated by the depictions of vast herds roaming the Great Plains. They have etched their place in the American psyche. My curiosity has led me to explore the current state of bison conservation across the continent. Hunting has become a controversial practice in modern times. My name is Dan Cabela, and I'm traveling the globe to explore the true impact that hunting is having on our remaining wild landscapes. This practice goes as far back as human history can remember. But does it have a place in modern conservation? At one point, there were at least 30 million bison roaming across the country. Their populations were decimated to near collapse. A few conservation-minded individuals managed to preserve the few that were left. At that time, it was estimated to be less than 1,000. I traveled to the Bison Convention in Denver to begin my journey of discovery. Sustainable use has led to a remarkable recovery through the consumption of bison meat. From the low point of 1,000 or less, they have recovered to nearly 500,000 strong. At least 400,000 of those are privately owned.
You talk about a great opportunity. I think it's here in front of you today. Whenever they're ready to bring the first animal, I guess we'll get started. This is your grand champion bull. He's weighing 1,729 pounds. Here's the best of the best right there. 10,000, 11,000. And I'll take another minute to get 10,000, anybody give me 10. Well, 5,000, 6,000, I'll find you. And I'll have $1,000 here. And $6,000, because I'm another minute, because I'm another minute, give me $8, give me 9. And $8, here we go. If you're all down to 14, $14,000, Tony, $14,000 for him. I sold him $13,500. That's number 6.
From the auction, I head to the National Bison Convention to learn about the ranching industry. Hey, Dave, appreciate you allowing us to attend the conference here, and just want to get a little information about what you guys do and what your group is about.
Absolutely. The National Bison Association, we represent about 1,150 members, 48 states, 10 foreign countries. We represent primarily the commercial bison ranchers, and everybody's playing a role in bringing this animal back. We call bison the greatest example of market-based species restoration in the history of North America. And that's because we as ranchers are working to bring back the animals, but it's those consumers, those customers out there, every time they take a bite of bison or go out and have a bison hunt or whatever, they're helping us to bring back this animal. What could be more sustainable than the animal that's been part of this ecosystem for thousands and thousands of years? And that's the beauty of this story, is from this grassland ecosystem that's more than 30% of North America's landmass evolved under continuous interaction with bison.
I was surprised by the vigor and passion of this industry and the vital role it has played in bringing back bison. Hey, John.
Hey.
Pleasure to finally meet you.
Nice to meet you, Dan.
How are the bison doing on your fantastic Wyoming ranch that I keep hearing about?
Well, the bison are doing great on our ranch, thanks. The Durham Ranch is what we're talking about. It's a family ranch. I'm third generation that's been involved with the ranch. About 55,000 acres, close to 90 square miles. My grandfather and my dad, were in the meat business and put this ranch together back in the 60s. It's pretty novel back then to market bison meat to the public. I'm kind of thinking there's so much to be said about this, and we could talk all day, but my thinking is I think we should just head north, go to the ranch, get on the ground, and we'll learn a lot better there.
That's a great idea. So I found myself on a highway north, imagining what these plains would have looked like full of bison, and wondering what lay ahead at Durham Ranch.
This is a map of the ranch. The bold green line is the perimeter. Each one of these areas represents a grazing paddock. The reason why we have so many paddocks is to allow us to control the time element of the grazing. In essence, what we're trying to do with the number of paddocks and the time-controlled grazing is more or less mimic the way it would have been naturally with the large herds of bison grazing hundreds of years ago. We plan out our grazing a year in advance, basically. I was just getting ready to head out to feed, so if you want to join me, might be kind of fun.
John invited me to Durham Ranch in Wyoming to learn more about the practice of bison ranching. John shows me some of the bison that were raised on Durham Ranch.
The meat is naturally lower in fat, naturally lower in cholesterol, high iron, varying products from steaks to skewers and burgers and brats appeal to the consumer. The marketplace is retail through grocery stores and restaurants as well. Consumers' acceptance is very high, which is a good thing for producers. It's a good thing for the species. The fact that people are wanting more of it, which creates the incentive to raise more of them. Here's where we store the feed. We use a free choice cafeteria style mineral program. They actually have their choice of 16 different vitamins and minerals in a trailer that's out with them all the time. And instinctually, they know how to balance their diet. So they'll sniff or lick whatever mineral, trace mineral, vitamin it is that they're looking for, take just a little bit of it and move on. We're gonna go give them just a couple pounds a piece. That's what we do in the wintertime. This helps keep them from losing quite as much weight as they might, which helps them come back in the spring, be prepared to breed.
Been fed by bison a few times, but I've never fed them.
There's 680 plus animals in this group. One of the functions that they provide on the land is to actually create contact between the plant material and the ground. And it needs good seed to soil contact before those seeds can actually germinate. This dung right here is breaking down. There's actually even a little bit of green grass right there again, a function of animal impact on the land. Think about this in a much, much larger scale. You can just imagine what the impact and the importance of these animals were, particularly in the arid, semi-arid environments like the Great Plains. Lots of connections, lots of interconnectedness. I love listening to them breathe. You can just hear them. It sort of gets in your blood. You fall in love with the animal. What we're trying to do here on this land is improve the land, make it healthier. We want it to be around for generations to come. Healthy land, healthy people, healthy communities. It's a healthy company.
While these animals are effectively domestic, they are still living naturally and in their natural environment as a keystone species. Ideally, all of these animals roaming freely would paint a beautiful picture. However, human progress won't allow that. Could you imagine 10,000 bison walking through your city or town? The next best thing is to give them value, which creates an economic incentive and promotes healthier ecosystems and more natural spaces for bison to roam. I had to ask myself, what would happen to the bison population without the support of the ranching industry? I've traveled far and wide to get a better understanding of my relationship to wildlife and the deep meaning that that has for me. Bison ranching isn't the only form of consumptive use that is having an impact on bison populations. Another form of sustainable use that has kept the bison on the prairies is hunting. There's something special about coming back to the town that I grew up in to hunt my first bison.
Morning, Dan.
Morning, Judd. Good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready. We're gonna head out. We'll head to the sand hills and see if we can find a bison up there in the hills and get you one taken care of.
Sounds good.
So the ranch we're going to is 87,000 acres, and it's 22 miles north to south, and about 8 miles wide at the widest part. So it's really long and skinny, but goes through some really pretty cool country.
We were soon out of town and into the wide open prairies of Nebraska.
Those bulls will kind of want to be close to herd, but they won't want to be in the herd. They like to hang up in those big hills too, the big bulls do. Now's the fun time we get to just go find them.
As the hunt commences, anticipation grows. There are many unknowns, but by the end, all of my questions will be answered. There were a surprising number of bison glassing for a good bull. I couldn't help feeling like I was stepping back in time.
and we're gonna go take a look. They're just over this rise right here. I don't know how far out they are, but we're gonna check them out.
There's something unique about harvesting your own animal. You're responsible for it. You are participating in a tradition that has been part of human society since the earliest records, connected to where your food is coming from.
Creep up here and get a good look down below first.
As you approach, nervousness sets in, but you try to find clarity.
Like if this guy gets up, he's not gonna go anywhere with you. Be about 50. One or the back one's the big one.
Left, the back one that's broadside. Yep. Good shot.
There are a mixture of emotions that collide after you pull the trigger. Happiness, sadness, fear, elation, sorrow, remorse. It's difficult to describe. I'm not sure I can describe it. It's something that is unique to these moments, something I don't entirely understand, but something I feel deeply. There's something unique about harvesting your own animal. You're responsible for it.
Left, the back one that's broadside. Yep. Good shot.
A bison bull can weigh up to 2,000 pounds and is some of the healthiest meat available.
Okay. Go.
Randy?
Dave.
Hey, nice to meet you.
This is an experience, and you'd like for it to be a good experience clear for the end.
What they've been suggesting is burger and maybe some pounded steaks out of the nice cuts. Thank you. And what makes harvesting your own animal so special is sharing it with your friends and family. Hunters have a tradition of sharing the harvest, and because of our participation, it's a lot more meaningful than simply taking someone to dinner. As the consumption of bison meat becomes more mainstream, the model will continue to grow. Not only is bison meat a healthy alternative to beef, but the industry is repopulating America's prairies with its megafauna once more.
This is a bison tenderloin.
An animal that has no use to humans has no future. Whether or not you agree with sustainable use, the role this practice has played in restoring an American icon should be considered.